Right, ready to go?
Cool, sweet.
Amazing. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Queen Yourself, the podcast. I'm extra excited today, and this is honestly like a full circle moment for me because I have the amazing, wonderful Debs Collings here with me. Debs has been very pivotal in my healing journey, and I've been seeing you, Debs, for 5 to 6 years now, which feels really wild to say, but you have been my space holder, my mentor for that time. And the journey that I've been on with you, walking beside you, has been absolutely incredible. So I feel very blessed that you are here today with me. So welcome and thank you for coming on and being here.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? For me, this is a full circle moment as well. When I look at you and what you've done and how you live, babe, and breathe your truth, it is honorable, you know? And really, when I work with someone, you know this, and I would say to anybody, you have always got the answers inside. So really, I just held the space for you. And what I noticed about you too is you did a lot of smaller sessions and spaced it out, but some people only ever see me once or twice. But because you're helping so many people, you spaced it out and you just saw me at key moments in your life because you had it together, really. It's just about sort of going through the little hiccups that we have in life because we all have a roller coaster sort of movement. But yeah, so some people only see me twice, but I can see why you've seen me because now I'm watching you with other people and it's a beautiful thing to see. You know, you're so authentic, honest, and you do speak your truth. And guys, you know, one of the things I would say to your people or whoever listens to this is you can only help someone on this planet if you are living and breathing that truth. So, you know, for me, I'm in alignment, I'm clear, you know, I'm in a conscious family unit. For Hannah, she's gone through her stuff with the nursing and come out the other side. So just know, you know, what we share together, it's basically coming from the heart. It's coming from the truth of who we are, you know. So hopefully people will feel that, you know, because it's important.
Yes, and it actually made me emotional listening to that then because flashback to
I nearly cried before.
Yeah, probably there will be tears on this. I just remember, when I very first saw you, and like I was very disconnected to myself and who I really was then, and I feel like very different now. So I'm just forever grateful for you. So thank you for being here.
And just know it's absolutely my pleasure, though, and I could hold space for people if they don't do the work or they don't do their own stuff, then they never get there. So you did your stuff. So kudos to you, sister.
Thank you. Yes, and that is something that I definitely talk about now as well, is the willingness to dive into the discomfort of dealing with your stuff and cleaning up your inner world. And so important, and it might feel uncomfortable to our human, but it's so worth it on the other side, and just to have that inner space. Absolutely. So you bring wholeness via quantum healing. How would you explain in a nutshell what you do? Because I feel like I would butcher it trying to explain to people what you actually do, because it's so expansive to me that it doesn't fit in words.
And that's the funny thing, because it's not explainable really. But if I could sort of give you a little snapshot, or I could help you people understand it, everything that's happening in their life has an energetic, a spiritual component to it, right? So with me, I'm linked to my higher self. And when I'm with someone, I link with their higher self. And it's like we're working with the energy behind what's going on in the humanness. So, you know, and when you're working with that energy and you clear that energy, or you bring wisdom to that energy, it filters back down to the human life, because the human life is happening because of our choices, our thought patterns, all that stuff that we know. But it's also happening because of our old lives. So old life trauma, old energies, they're patterns and things that I work with. So it's very easy for me to see what's going on with someone. So you know how I used to get you to write out, you know, where your things were, fears, or what patterns were coming up for you. I know you work with patterns with your people. So when you do that, I'm able to access where that's coming from. And most of the stuff that's in people's lives right now is not this life, as you know. It's like old life stuff. So I work with the energy behind that, and especially the old lives, and that affects this life, because this is the important one, right?
Yeah.
It's really awesome because we're in an exciting time. So I do work with the energy. It's not an intellectual process, it's more the energy movement. So people being able to let go and flow is really key when they're working with me. You were awesome at that. Like, you know, I help people realize that they can actually connect to their own spirit, their own higher self. Doesn't matter what you call it, really, but they can connect to their own inner wisdom. And when I hold a space, I notice how, you know, people just naturally do it, because that connection is everything in this life, everything in this world. So that's what I help people do. It's kind of like just working with the energy behind, which helps them back to themselves, because my job's always to help someone get back to their own magnificence. And that might sound like really big, but we are all magnificent beings of light. And you're an example of it, because, like, you know, when you start tapping into your energies, you are confident, you're strong, all the other stuff that sort of crooked 3D kind of version of ourselves that we were told when we were younger and from our old lives, it just drifts away. You know that, because then you can stand up in front of people. You just feel authentic. And that's not powerful as much as it is just being your true self, and your energy flows. So I help people flow their own energy. I hope that helps. Yeah. Because it's kind of unquantifiable way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said people try to intellectualize it. It's like, you can't, you know. No. I remember some of my friends asking after our session, like, well, what did you guys do? And I'm like, I can't explain it to you. Like, it all happens. And that feeling of being yourself and being connected to yourself, I think, is the best feeling ever. It's like, you know, you're not, your mind is not blocking you from your flow. It's like you're just taking those steps, you're feeling your way through life. And I know you say that a lot, like, feel your way through your life. So yeah, it's a bloody good feeling. So do the work to get there. 100% would recommend. We always start with a queen moment. So
I love that.
That is, yes. And, you know, it's anything that has gone well this week, anything you're proud of that you've done, that you've shown up for yourself. Can be anything that quantifies a queen moment. So what is yours?
You know what? I just love that concept, by the way, because, like, when you self-reflect, right, you realize, oh my God, you know, I'm actually quite cool. I've done well. And I think self-reflection and what I call contemplation, where you just sit quiet and reflect on things, is so beneficial. And I thought about it, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I feel like I live like a queen. I'm just going to say it. So my life is my moment, babe, right?
I love that.
But I'm going to tell you some things that I think that were pivotal moments, or pivotal things that have made a difference, and why I feel I live like a queen, because obviously that's my perspective, but it feels great. So one of the things I did, and I could really pat myself on the back for, is I chose the right man, the right husband. Okay, girls, even men, if you don't have a soul synergy or a feeling where you can be yourself with someone and where you can grow with someone, then it's probably not your person. So, and it doesn't mean you don't love someone, but it just means you need to be able to get on your path, because this life is all about growth and evolution. It's a different life to other lives on the planet, other lives we've had. So one of my things was I didn't settle. I was like, no, I value myself enough to know, and I had that link with myself, what's right and what's not. So, you know, as you know, you've met Sawyer, like, he was more conscious, right? And it wasn't until I met him that I thought about having Caleb, because some of you will be feeling this, and obviously a lot of your peeps have not got to that stage yet. But just remember, girls, don't put up with second best, and that's not disrespectful to someone, but really make sure that you choose the right person that you're going to walk with, because that journey is a beautiful one, and it can be very conscious. So that was one thing I did. The second thing I did was have Caleb consciously. So like, we got Caleb, he's 14. Babe, he's awake.
Yeah.
He's awake. He's got all his switches on and he knows why he's here on this planet. And so for me, that was a pat on the back moment, because it's almost like, wow, I really know how to parent and allow him to express himself, be himself without shutting him down. So that's another moment that I felt for me. And the other thing was I always followed my feelings. Oh my God. Look, you know, people could have told me things, and I've got a strong mind and personality and all that, but I always felt that pull, and I never went against that. And if I could say this to someone, don't forget, just feel your gut. Keep it simple, right? So I do feel like I live a queen life. I have the odd servant moment, you know, the servant of the queen, where I'm like, I might be doing too much around the house or whatever. But I know those few things are big for me. Choosing the right man, choosing to have a kid consciously, you know, and following my feelings. Drop the mic. I'm like, that's how it worked for me. And you've seen it. You've been here, babe. You know, you've seen how we live. So
100%. I think it's such a beautiful example, and I freaking love that. Like, your moment is your life, and you have consciously created that, and by honoring yourself, that is what has come to fruition. So such good points there.
Cool.
I love it.
Cool.
So awakening to your purpose on this planet, it sounds kind of nice when we say it like that, but in our actual humanness, it can feel, and I know for me, it felt like I was going crazy. It felt like nothing was right. There was all this stuff going on. So what was your awakening journey like, and how did it all kind of flow for you being able to be who you are now and being able to do what you do now?
Yeah, loaded question. This is really interesting, because for me, my journey unpacked quite a lot more gently over my life, because we were in different times. So, I mean, I've been on this path for at least 30 years. So it sort of unpacked itself gently. I always followed my feelings and things. But now, with the energy on the planet, with what's happening, and I'm sure we'll get into talking about that soon, but people are waking up quickly. They're actually, it's a quickening that we're in. So it's quite fascinating. So you do, you know, that crazy feeling, that I've put videos out about that. That is a sign you're waking up. And when you feel like nothing's going your way in your life and everything's falling apart, that's like a 2 thumbs up moment, because that tells you you're breaking out of your old patterns and your old stories. Because truly, this life is about waking up to and remembering who we are, right? And people will do that differently, and that's a personal path. But feeling like you're crazy and that everything's falling apart is a sign you're on track. And I put 2 videos out about being crazy cool, because to me that's cool. It's like, and if you think things are going wrong, that's just your mind's version, you know, your personality's version of this world. And of course it's going wrong according to your mind, because your mind's like, what's happening? I should have this sorted by now, or I should be here by now, or whatever. The mind's got a whole load of stories. So for me, I think following my felt sense was really good. I do remember a couple of moments, and you've had these moments, and I see it with many clients, where I was in a corporate role, right? And I just felt like I was dying. And so I remember that moment, I was like, am I going crazy? And everyone said to me, oh my God, are you leaving that job and that car and all the benefits? I'm like, yeah. And I didn't even have anything sorted. And I know you've done these things, like you obviously had some business in the background, but sometimes, guys, you know, you have to make choices and really follow your feeling. And that's something, you know, that everyone's got to do. And you got to check your mind. You're really good at helping your people with that, right? Because your mind, your personality, your intellect has always got stories, and it's like babbling in the background. And you have to learn to override that, because that will just stuff you up completely. But if you feel you're going crazy, guys, you're on track. If you feel like everything's off track, that means you're actually on track and you're waking up, basically. You're not mad, you're waking up. You're remembering who you are. It's actually not strange. It's more normal than Actually, I think the people that are crazy are the ones not waking up.
Yeah.
It's my thing, because they're like just going along with life going, oh, I'm happy with this. I'm like, what? No
Yeah.
one's happy with that out there. Come on. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I'm at with that anyway, babe. So I
So
hope that
true.
answers it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So as you know, a lot of my audience are nurses or healer type, empathic kind of souls.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know you work with a lot of people who identify with those kind of umbrella
Yes.
ways of being as well. So what would be your main message to them, knowing all that you know, and obviously like having the perspective that you do from that expanded place?
Now, do you know what? I had to write this down because there's a few things to share. Because I'll say this without sort of having tears, but you guys, you know, any of you sensitive souls are the souls that are making the biggest difference. And for me, anyone that's a nurse or you know, what we call overly sensitive, empathic, etc., that's their gift to this world. Their feeling, their senses, that's their gift, right? So I would say, first of all, don't shut that down. Recognize that you've been a healer in an old life. If you're a nurse, if someone's a nurse, there is no doubt they've been a healer in an old life. That is a given. Like every session I have with people, we go, oh my gosh, you've been a shaman. Oh, you've been the white witch that heals people with herbs. It's amazing, right? So nurses and sensitive souls are a gift on this planet. But if we align with being empathic, we can actually, it's almost like the gift is against oneself then. So we have to unplug. I've got quite a few videos on my YouTube channel about that, because you don't want to align with being an empath, but remember the sensitivity is the gift, right? So let me see what I've written down here. So that was one thing, right? The next thing is, you guys often give too much out and you don't allow it back in.
Yes.
So someone that's a nurse or a healer or this sensitive soul, you got to remember, guys, you're giving out all the time. So you've got to remember to have, you know, healthy boundaries, which I know you know about, and then allow that goodness in for yourself. It's huge. It's huge. So that's something I felt to mention. Here's another funny thing. I don't know if any doctors will watch this, but this makes me laugh. So I've had a lot of nurse clients, as you know, and, you know, they often stabilize what's happening with a patient whilst the doctor's doing their thing, and they don't even realize they're doing it. So in a way, I see the nurses like a stabilizing factor, because the doctors can get very much in their head and they've got that hierarchical energy. You know what I mean, eh?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's sort of like interesting, because I look at that and I think, wow, that nurse is really the stabilizer, the channel in that moment where that peace can be for that, you know, for that patient. You know, I even remember when you were in the clinic, when you were doing the babies, and I said to you, you right now are in the perfect space, because you were actually holding a beautiful energy whilst the children were having their, you know, jabs, and you actually changed the energy of that by being there. And I know that's a long time ago, but I really think nurses are great at that. Sensitive souls are great at that, and they don't even have to say anything, right?
Absolutely.
So just remember, though, you know, you do have to let the goodness into you, because that's huge. Most givers don't receive well, so learn to receive well, guys. Now, here's another biggie. You know this so well, because you guys work with bodies all the time. Something that someone has to understand when they're waking up is that the body is just a messenger of the soul, of the higher self. So whatever's going on in your body is energy that may need balancing. Whatever's going on with the patient, if you look, you'll see patterns. If you start to look for patterns in patients, you'll see, oh, when there's certain issues in certain areas of the body, it's to do with what's going on in their soul. So a body, I've got a great video for that in my Quantum Perspective series, and we can link these videos for the guys, because then they can look at it and make it out to themselves. but the body is the main messenger of the soul. So not only do you have to pay attention to your body and tune into yours, guys, you also have to, look at patients when you're going to start seeing patterns, and it will help you understand your own body. And this energy gets stuck in the body, and you help people release it too. So literally, sometimes I'll go into a certain area. Let's say it's the hips, and the hips are about direction in life. And a lot of the time people are locked up in their hips because they don't know where to go next. So you will notice that. So what would I tell that, your nurses, your sensitive type souls, attune into your body. Make sure that you're listening to your body is the main messenger. Remember that. Make sure you're receiving, and remember you're a balance when you're with, a doctor. You're a balance in those moments. You don't always say things, you don't have to, but don't walk away with the energy of where you've been. So when you walk out of that hospital or the doctor's surgery or wherever you are, you need to say to yourself, right, I've done my work. I'm going to flush my energy field, and how to get your people to do that. And I'm going to, basically live my life now outside of the hospital. And people don't do that, right?
They carry it all.
Yeah, and you can't
carry very heavy.
Yeah, you can't carry people. You can't fix them up, but you can be a really clear conduit, a clear energy in that space. And when you're clear with you, not only does that serve you, it serves everyone around you, eh?
Yeah.
So I think sensitive souls forget that because they keep trying to focus on the outside and looking after everyone. Bring it back in, and that's what you've done. You've brought it all back to yourself, and it's not selfish. It's actually making sure you're clear, and that helps another. And that's the best gift we could give someone. Does that help? I just think that, because you guys are absolutely a gift on this planet. But don't align with being empathic too much, because that definitely has a flavor where it's like, oh, my sensitivity is too much and I can't handle it. No, you just need to clear. You need to align yourself. Be the queen, okay?
Yeah.
Just don't carry people's crap.
Yeah.
Clean yourself out all the time. Because you're doing it with people, I'm sure,
100%. And I always say, like, nurses are space holders without even realizing it. And I feel like, everything that you just said there is so on point and very important to clear your own energy field and keep a clear channel, because like, I see it a lot with my clients where they're just so banked up. And yes, it's their emotion, but a lot of it is what they're carrying as well, from feeling like they are responsible for everyone else around them. So when you do the work to get rid of that, you actually live a lot lighter. And you can also have the space between, like, differentiating between, is this my stuff or is this their stuff? And okay, that's their stuff, right? Well, I don't have to take that on. And you actually create the space.
That is such a good point. Discernment. Yes, that's such a good point. And sometimes, when you're a sensitive soul, you've got to recognize what's yours and what's theirs. And having that gap, or even just flushing your energy, will help you realize that. And I do have a little tool for that, and you should use it with your peeps too. If someone's having like this overwhelmed moment, especially if you've just finished a shift or something's happened, just put your hand on your heart chakra and just ask, is this mine? And just trust your first feeling, right? So if you get yes, you'll know it's something to do with you from this life or an old life. If you get no, you've probably just picked up something from, the hospital or from the office or whatever. And if you think about hospitals and surgeries of any kind, they attract that victim lower vibe energy. So it's there and it's waiting for the light to come in. It's like, whoa, let me just, grab a ride here. And it's not a bad thing. It just helps you discern, It just helps you discern who you are, and it's a reminder not to carry other people. So, Hand on the heart, check. Is it mine? I'm just going to turn this light round. It's hot here today. Is it hot in Perth?
Yeah, it is. It's quite warm.
It's about 35, and I'm like,
oh, it's not that warm. That's funny for Melbourne.
Yeah, it's been warm for a few days, but you start heating up. It's like, whoa. I've got a fan on though. So so that helps, hopefully. Yeah,
100% it does. Absolutely. So as well, during our sessions, I always like to get a little energy update from you on what's happening on the planet. And I feel like this will help a lot of people maybe put things into perspective, but give another layer to things they may be experiencing or noticing around them. So I love the updates that you give on your socials and of course when we chat too.
Yeah.
What would you say to people if they have no idea what's happening on the planet at this time? What would you kind of tell them in a nutshell?
Right. Yeah, I thought about this. This is interesting. So this life, this moment in time, and this is something I know, so it's not what I believe or read in books. This is something I know to the core of my being. And I tap into this other level stuff. That's why I give updates and things. This is the most amazing time to be on this planet, right? There is and has been an awakening going on. And all that means really is people are remembering who they are. They're not the body, they're not the mind. These are things they use. And so people are waking up to being more, right? So there's a mass awakening been going on for ages. And you can see it, like even COVID, right? COVID was the biggest message of COVID was to get back inside to yourself. Like we even got locked into our homes for a while. It was very handy because it made people realize, oh, I've got to clear my family karma, with who I'm with, or I've got to get back inside myself and tune into me. And people have reevaluated their life because of COVID. It's amazing. COVID was a gift from the top down. People can say all the negative things they want to say about it, but the truth is it helped people go to another level of awakening. The reason why I mention that is because that's helping people wake up. It's helping them reflect on their life and think, what do I need to do? Am I in the right job? And everything.
Yeah.
So I feel that people need to know that's happening. They need to know there's an automatic flow, like with this wake up, and they need to pay attention to their inner world. So if there's a lot of stuff going on, like you've got a lot of negative mental patterns, or you've got, a lot of bad issues and things coming up, that's coming up because it needs your awareness so you can cleanse it. And you do this with your people. So just know, as I mentioned before, when your life's all upside down, that's really when you're actually in that awakening phase. So it's amazing. It's actually amazing. So this life is all about remembering who we are and resetting our old lives. And I do have a video about that. You'll remember I put that out quite a while ago called Knowing the Bigger Picture. I would say to people, look at that, because there's like drawings inside it, because I feel like the words don't do it justice, but the drawings do. So if it's a big moment on the planet and it's amazing and things are going down and it's going wrong, just go, whoa, hold on a minute. I'm actually in a wake-up mode here. This is good. This is a good sign. And start looking, paying attention to your inner world, because everything, guys, outside is a distraction. Whatever it is, even social media is. Everything's a distraction, and you've got to focus on your inner world. And most people don't do that. They get home from work, they start eating unconsciously, they don't move their bodies, they're looking at the screen, and then, but yeah, it's a wake-up time. I'll just see if I wrote anything else that you might need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually, I wrote down, it's exciting because it's never been before like this. So it's a chance for us to live in our queen lives, basically. It's to live our authentic self, to live our dream jobs, to help people and just like enjoy it. It's like, woohoo, it's a time you can actually lighten up. There might be heavy stuff coming up, but when you clear that out, this, whoa, life becomes so different and you can live as your queen. So from my perspective, it's probably the best time to be here, although it's intense, but you've got to check in with you and wake up to who you are. And remember, that's all that matters at the end of the day, you remembering who you are and living your truth, And people often say to me, oh, what's my purpose right now? And I've got a video about that, of course.
Just check out our whole YouTube channel, guys.
Well, that's why I put it out, because it supports people, and that I'm doing really short videos. But, as I've once said to you a long time ago now, that our purpose is to clear our old lives and our old density, like this stuff that we hold on to, and to remember to align to who we are. That's it.
Mm.
It's actually more simple than it is complicated. Getting in our own flow. You feel the flow after doing a session, for example, or when you let go of something, you feel your flow.
Yeah,
But a lot of
absolutely.
people have shut that off because they're living in their heads.
Oh,
And
yes.
that doesn't work. Because did you know, well, you'll remember me telling you this a long time ago, but the mind, the mental plane, is actually way out. It's not in your body. So when you're in your mind, it feels like you're spinning out because you're outside of your body. And that can have a profound effect. It will make you going crazy. Like, it will make you feel really mad. And the other thing is, if people don't let go of their old stuff, they will feel depressed, right?
Mm.
Because if we don't let go of our old energy, it sits in our body, and you know this, and it ends up creating depression. It's almost like we're swimming in that and in our old energy that we're not letting go of.
Yes.
And so this time on the planet is actually helping people let go by bringing it up. And if people do that, they're like, boom, it's gonna work. If they hold on to their old thoughts and old patterns and old stuff, they're gonna get stagnant, depressed, sick, and etc. So
Yeah, absolutely.
so that's what I'd say, about the time we're in. Well, how would you put that, like, from your perspective? Because we've all got a perspective on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, like, I remember you saying that to me in our last session, actually, like, everything outside of yourself is a distraction.
Yeah.
I think what I would say is, like, there is no, like, hiding or running away from dealing with your inner world or your energetic world now. And I think that it's, like you said, it's coming up for a reason. So rather than distracting yourself, suppressing it, which creates more problems, or trying to solve your problem mentally, actually be open to going in and doing the work. Because, and I feel like I say this all the time, it's just like, it always just flows through me, like, just do the work. And it sounds so simple, but the amount of times I see people running away because there is fear of what will come up, or it feels uncomfortable, or it feels outside of the known, is, like, I see that all the time. And so I think, like, we're here to grow, we're here to evolve and be, like, the best version of ourselves. And when you live in alignment with your own flow and you honor yourself, regardless of, like, what anyone says or what anyone thinks, that feels like $1,000,000. Like, that feels like, I can't explain the feeling. And I always say, I wish I could bottle this and, like, sell it to people.
But
because
that is you being back with you, right?
Yeah.
And I love what you're saying about that, because, and I'm going to tell you that from the top down, this is from my knowing, everybody on the planet is going to go through this, whether they like it or not. Why not jump on your own bloody train?
Yeah.
That's what I say. Like, that's why we do what we do. Jump on the train, get it done. And the great thing about doing stuff when someone else has done it is you can quicken it. It's like, it's not actually hard. You remember when we journeyed back in the day, we would go, and we don't have to go into the density of it. You go, you take awareness of it. You easily, when you take awareness to something, that heals something. You don't even have to do anything, but you can't squash it under the carpet. You can't walk away from it because you don't want the uncomfortable feeling. The uncomfortable feeling will probably last about 5 seconds if you sort it out in quantum sessions, or doing it like you're doing it with your people. So we've got to be able to get all those, just let go of all that stuff. Really, it's more about being honest and authentic with yourself, really making sure you're paying attention to your inner world. It's not as much work as it is about letting go of the old and flowing with the new. And that's, people don't like letting go of old stuff. It's very interesting when I'm with someone. Sometimes I'm like, why are you holding on to that shit? So I always say to them, you've really got to consciously let go, because that's just holding you up. And with the flow like you are, oh my God, life is so different. Everything's different. Even when you go to the supermarket, it's like, oh, she's smiling at me, or, it's awesome. It is. And so I would say to people, don't feel like this, you can't do it. Everyone can do it. And it's
Mm.
not really a doing thing. It's more about just letting go and aligning, letting go and aligning. And when you're with someone like you or me, anyone that's in alignment, you're going to find it easier to let go.
Absolutely. And I love what you said there, like choose your heart. The challenges, they actually pile up and pile up and pile up. And, you know, they will, it's like the universe will, you know, poke you and give you a little nudge. And if you don't listen, it'll, you know, maybe just give you a slightly harder kick. And then all of a sudden you got like a Mack truck coming to run you over. And the universe is like, come on, girl, deal with your shit. Like take responsibility and step into it. And I notice as well, like a lot of people, that feeling of familiarity in what they're experiencing, maybe it's the drama cycles, maybe it's like things working out a certain way, attracting certain people into their lives, whatever it is, the familiarity of that sometimes can create this false safety where they're like, but I know this and I don't know anything outside of this. And that is like that point where people have to like take that leap of faith. And I always say, like, grow your wings on the way down, because you absolutely do. But I also invite people to look at like, well, if this keeps happening, this particular problem or feeling or thing, and you just keep living this way, because if nothing changes, then how is it actually going to feel in 1 year's time, in 3 years' time, when this is still happening and probably at a worse level? You know, maybe you've got new things happening, or things are coming up in your body now because you're not listening. Like, how is that going to feel? And sometimes you've got to think about it, like it sounds a bit morbid, but from that perspective of the pain that you're continually creating by not dealing with your shit.
And you know what? That's such a valid point, because, you know, the reason why we're at this moment in time on this planet from a bigger perspective, is because people have gone from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime with their crap. And there's a backlog. So this lifetime is an opportunity, and it is an opportunity to swiftly clean up where we've had a lot of old, you know, hurts, old fears, old habits, etc. It is a big cleanup. And if people watch that knowing the bigger picture, they're going to go, oh my God, all I've got to do is get on my own train. And why don't I just choose to be on the train? You know, if I'm getting on a train, you know, I might get on a train with someone else that's already done it, so they can help me move it quickly. That's all. And it's not an intellectual process. It's not a mental one. And the other thing is, when people start to realize what their mind is, they'll realize, oh my God, I can actually shift how I'm feeling about this and all this stuff that's coming up. And I don't have to play a victim. I'm going to take the reins here, and I'm going to be the queen. I'm going to go, hang on a minute. I'm letting go of this stuff. Here it goes. And they're conscious choices you make. Or you align with the little human that's got all stuck in its little story, and you play that game for years, as you said. And that, I can tell you that everyone's going to have to do this, whether they like it or not. And the interesting thing for me as well, just noticing this right now, because I've had a few clients in this situation, and this is where, you know, your nurse healer types need to know this. If someone's got a life-threatening disease, they need to pay attention to their inner world. So their body, that is actually a big slap around the chops. So they would have been given whispers of life. They would have been given synchronicities, and then they didn't jump on it. And then suddenly it becomes something that seems to be, you get it. Right? But that's not the case. It's just a call to, and cancers, all these things, they're just a call to live differently, guys. And if you jump on your train earlier, that stuff won't relate to you, you know. So, it's not a time to fuss around and sit on the fence, but you don't have to freak yourself out. You can just, you know, go with the flow and get conscious about living, get conscious about life, you know, and that inner world's key. You do that, you know. You did that all through your time. It's like amazing. And when you know something's wrong, I would say to people also in relationships, because, you know, that's a big thing for a human, right? Okay, so your partner, your mum, your dad, whatever. Well, because of the changes that are happening on the planet, everyone's got their stuff coming up. So what you have to decide, you have to discern what's yours, but then you have to decide, is that the right partner, or do I need to play a game of my family history? Like sometimes in families, there's little traumas and there's funny little quirky things that go on. Every family's got something. And, you know, when you start to wake up to who you are and clean yourself out, you think, I'm not playing that story. I'm just not. And it's not that you don't love them, but you don't play the old games. So I think it's important for people to honor, you know, in relationships, to honor that right now. And if they need to, if people are dropping off, their friendships are going, or they're splitting up with their partner, it's okay. It's part of the change. I just wanted to share that. I feel like some people need to hear that. You know, because you don't have to fear being, you know, by yourself. You can actually do this. It's better if you can do it alone, actually.
Yeah, I just got shivers. I know like 2 people recently in my world who have, you know, parted ways. So yes, very.
It's a part of your growth, and being alone, you can honor yourself, right? And you can serve yourself, and then you get back with another when you're in alignment with your own higher self. Because if you're not in alignment with who you really are, you could call it soul, it doesn't matter what you call it. If you're in alignment with you, right, and you've got your flow like you have, you will notice that you only attract people that are like that. You don't attract leeches or people that are trying to, you know, tell you what to do or have some sort of conditioners around how you are. Because we've all got to be true to ourselves in this life, and that's part of the change with relationships. So honor it.
Part too, like who you choose to let into your like intimate space and world is a massive thing. So if that is off or not right, that can really like take you off path.
Yeah, that's why I said in the beginning about that. When you asked me about a queen mum, I thought, yeah, I chose the right person. I made sure that I did. And when things were out with other people, I thought, no, this is not right. So, and you've done the same thing, right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you didn't honor that relationship. It's beautiful, but it's not long term. And that's when we have to make choices. And they are what you might deem as a tough choice. But once you make it, it's not really, is it? Like you make the choice,
it's
and
crazy
the energy
to
starts flowing.
Yeah, it's wild to look back on, because that like and you know what Debs is referring to, for everyone listening, is I was in like a 5-year relationship, and it was, you know, like there was nothing wrong, and I say that with air quotes, but as I went on this growth journey and started to wake up, it just was so not right. And so having you there to hold the space for me to decipher that was very powerful. But yeah, hard decision at the time. But now I look at life and I'm like, fuck, I'm so happy that I, you know, chose the hard thing. Because it would have been like, well, I say easy to stay, but I know that I would have not, the feelings within me would have grown, and I would have felt like I couldn't stay there anymore. So I know I would have eventually moved on. But, you know, at the time when everything is like all boxes are checked, it feels like your mind is like, oh, okay, well, this is done here now. So like, that's it. But when you are living from a feeling place, I've just learned to like not even question it. I'm like, right, we're doing this. Okay, here we go again. Right, let's go. And then, you know, things just work out. And I have that trust now because I've just seen it so many times.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, like I said, the biggest learning curve for someone that's coming into a lifetime is to learn to honor themselves first. And when in relationships, sometimes that gets skewed. Someone, you know, there's too much codependency. There's just not that freedom of energy flow. And so we can still honor our relationships because we do learn heaps from them. And I have amazing marriage. So I know it's actually possible. And there were a few frogs along the way. But I was so grateful for all those old relationships because they did teach me about me. But right now on this planet, people can't stay in relationships if they're stifling. It's as simple as that, because all you're doing is you're changing your path, and that's not what this time's about. Even with friendships, guys, we can love a friend and we could have been through heaps with a friend, but it doesn't mean that they have to be with us till the end. We have to honor our beautiful connections we've had, but then choose to spend time, because if you think about it, wherever you're spending time, whoever you're talking to, whatever you're linked with via email, via social media, you're linked into that energy. Whatever you watch on the TV, so that's your diet. And what you're taking in is obviously what you're choosing to engage in. And that includes relationships and anything else you do. So, you know, it's good to be conscious about that stuff. We don't think about everything. Oh, that's okay. I'm just going to sit and watch that soap opera or whatever. What does it really represent, you know? And is it me? I think it's time to be conscious about all that stuff too, eh? And
100%. And your unconscious mind is consistently taking that into, and
goes back to it, and then it plays it out in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, no, not going to happen to me. I just like unplug that, you know, unplug this, and just stay true to your heart. And again, you got to get that focus on the inside. Most people, as you said, don't like the inner world though, because they don't like the uncomfortable feeling. But the sooner you get in there, the sooner you reset, the better it is.
100%.
Because you're going to do it anyway. Instead of being dragged by your soul, you can actually just front up and go, let's go, girl. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go, guy, if there's boys.
Choose to step into it rather than run away. 100%. And what you do is beyond this human world, but it really helps your human in this life. And I've found that, like, throughout our time together, it's just really helped me know how to human, I guess, or like live in a way that feels good for me. So you've kind of already touched on this, but how do you explain what happens in a quantum session? How do people know when they need to book in for one?
So normally I see people, like I saw you, at poignant times in their life, you know, when they've kind of been trying to think their way through something and they don't know where to go. So it's very much, sometimes they've exhausted that mental sort of side. But yes, as I mentioned, I do work with the energy behind it. So what I do, remember when you used to come and see me, I used to get you to write down what's coming up, what are the patterns, what are the fears, and we would just be able to go straight to those and sort those out. So literally, instead of messing around and fluffing around, we go straight to what the core of the issue is. And it could be another life, a past life. It could be something that happened when you were 3, as you know. So basically I shorten people's path, because I just go boom, straight to it. I get them to get in it and we just clean it up. So, and make no mistake, guys, everything that's in your human world is because of the energy world, because of that beyond. It's not the other way around. So it's what I do is work from the top down instead of from the bottom up, because you really can't fix things with the mind. You know that. Yeah.
No, you can't. You just kind of create more problems.
Yeah. And the other thing about the mind, this is interesting for me, it wants to keep creating stories. And so you get one thing cleaned up and then something else comes up. But the thing is, the mind just, that's its game. And you just don't have to play that game. You can just be clear. You can do your work, be clear, and then just get on with your life and live in the flow, instead of this constant cycling and listening to the mind and thinking, oh, you know, I've got to do 10 things, when sometimes people just haven't. So I like to, you know me, when someone gets to see me, I'm like, let's just do it all at once, shall we?
Yeah,
so
get it cleaned up.
If someone's ready for that, they have to be ready. Do you remember I said to you, like, back 6 years ago, does it feel right to come? Because if someone gets that feeling and they're ready, the work's going to be done. And when they get that feeling, what it means is they're actually in touch with their higher self. Because a long time ago, I said to the higher selves of everyone, only bring people when they're ready, and let them know, get them, you know, give them a feeling when they hear me. And if they don't get the feeling, don't do it, because it will be a lot, you know, to do.
Yeah.
And you always wanted your moment, you know, there was always little moments where you wanted to, you know, you knew, oh yeah, I can quicken this instead of waiting a few months to go through it, type of thing.
100%. Yeah. You get the feeling. You just know.
You do know. It's a feeling.
I love that. So the world is kind of chaotic if we observe it and we, you know, listen to what's going on. What are some things that people can do to ground their body or ground themselves, their human, during this time?
Good question. I wrote some things down for this because I think, you know, there's a lot of things that we can help people with, and you probably tell your people this already. But the thing is, guys, the chaos on the outside is a direct reflection of what's been going on in our inside world. And because we're in cleanup mode, the planet's cleaning up and we're cleaning up. And people don't even have to understand what that means, you know, but there's a cleanup mode going on. That's why there's so much kind of weird stuff and transparency and all that sort of stuff in the world. So what you have to do is you have to bring your focus back inside, work on that inner world, or, you know, be with that inner world. Now, ways to do this: get into nature. You're good with this. Just get outside, walk the beach, walk, you know, move and be in nature, right? Be really aware of patterns that are coming up. You know, maybe it's a mental pattern or a physical pattern. If you've got patterns, it's easier to heal things because you can they're access points for healing. So look for patterns. I mentioned about the friendship or the relationship thing. If you know things aren't resonating, definitely make that change, because you're just lengthening out something and it will be worse later on. The other thing I said was, I wrote down here that I think is the number one: nurture the connection with your own spirit, your own soul, your own higher self. All you have to do, you don't need to know what it is, but all you have to do is sit quiet, get into your heart space, let go of the thoughts, and take a chill pill for it, and just sit with you, and you will start to tune in. I have got a video to help people to do that. It's free. It's all on my YouTube. But I can't stress enough how important that is, because the world's chaotic, but we can have peace. We can have a queen life. We can be in harmony. All right. So we're living proof of that. So pay attention to, you know, or connect in with your own higher self. And it starts with the little tools, you know, like just sensing the energy there, and then you just connect in. And you remember, the more you do it, the more real it becomes. And then you're like, oh gosh, I know this stuff. Oh yes, I know what to do. And it's just this gentle unfolding, but it's always there, always. And people say we come in with a guardian angel. Well, we come in with ourselves, our higher self. That's kind of what it is.
You got your own back.
So the other thing is, I would say to people, clean their space, their energy space, and their bodies. So we can use violet flame. It doesn't matter how you do it. You might just see the energy going through. I mean, I've got videos for this. I've done so. You know why I've done it? Because I feel that people need to have this stuff free now, because they need to know there's simple things that they can do that will just keep balancing them. And a lot of people don't clean their energy field, clean their energy body. They're just like walking from day to day, you know. And when they go to sleep at night, they're doing a whole load of work in the night, and then they get up and they take that with them during the day. But you need to clean off your, you know, energies after you've been asleep, because a lot of the cleansing's going on when we're sleeping, and people don't realize they're waking up exhausted, but they're cleansing in the night. 2 thumbs up, you know. So so now that's it really. There's simple things, you know. Honor your felt sense, move in nature, you know. Walking is great, because literally I've noticed that people that get depressed and heavy, they don't want to move their bodies. But if you move your body, you move that energy, you walk out of it. It's like, and you're doing breath work, I notice now as well. See, like with breath work, that I think is an untapped power, because you literally, you are the breath. That's what, you know, the energy is. And you can move energy easy by moving breath, and you hold place to people. It is understated, underestimated how much you can do with breath.
So
I
powerful.
love that you're doing that, because it's just, you know, working with the body, using the breath, and really and once you open up the flow, you're going to naturally connect to your higher self, because it's always there. So I would say keep life simple too. Simple, have fun. Like we were just in the pool before, okay, and it was like Caleb's just joking and we're jumping in, and it's like I feel people have got too heavy and they get too soaked down with everything. Have some fun. You know, if it means dancing, if it means putting on some eyelashes, if it means whatever, I don't care what it is. Pack a picnic, go with your hubby or your boyfriend or whatever, and have some fun. Hang out with someone that's fun. Have a giggle, watch a funny movie. I think people have got too serious. Especially after COVID. I'm like, whatever. So we're still having fun. So
and that's what life's
about. I love about you, because you do this. You know, you're like, you know, there's a lightness to it. And of course, we're doing our stuff, doing our inner work, but there's a lightness to it, and you can choose that as well.
I think you do. Like, the reason to do the work is so you can enjoy your fucking life. Like, so you can just.
That's why we're here.
In the moment. Yeah. And when you have a lot of like heavier stagnant energy, you block yourself from being present in the moment and enjoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, love that. Yeah, have fun.
Why don't we do something for people? I don't know if you want to do this, but we can, anyone that listens to this call, we could do a little cleansing for them and then get their high self, their soul energies in. So it'll help them. So
let's do it.
Shall we?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. If you close your eyes, right, and I'm just going to connect with everybody that listens to this. So in this now moment, I'm connecting with you across time. So it doesn't matter when you come to this call. Welcome to this space. And what we're going to do is we're going to help you clean out some of your old energies. You don't even need to know what it is. We're going to flush your energy systems. And we're going to connect you to your higher self. Keep it simple, guys. So just rest where you are. Take one deep breath and just drop into your heart space. Touch your heart space and you'll just feel, I'm here now. Get present. Just relax. The world's so busy out there. But you know what? It can be very quiet on the inside. So just rest in your heart and let's just vision up your higher self. So just to be clear, all it is it's the real you, okay? There's a little part of you that operates your body, yes, but it's the bigger part of you. So just imagine and be playful about this. Just imagine above you is a beautiful, glowing, golden body of light. So it's like a beautiful glowing, it's like a sun, but it's a body. And have a look and you'll see there's a face in it and it's yours. And if you can vision this is really good, like this glowing golden body of light that's your higher self. But do you know, even if you can't see that, if you can just align with my words and just sense and know, oh, there is a part of me there. Yes, there is someone there and it is me, even if I don't see and feel it. Because when you do nurture that connection, you definitely see and feel it, like Hannah and I. So just know she's above you, 4 foot above you. Now imagine that she or he, if there's men watching this, boys watching this, see this glowing golden light and now see it flowing into the top of your head. Just imagine you can open the top of your head, the crown chakra, and now feel as your own higher self just floods in this beautiful golden, almost like honey-like liquid. And just notice how it flows down your face, your neck, and just let it into your heart. Open up your heart, guys. Let's unblock that heart with your own soul light, your own higher self. Feel this glowing golden white, beautiful liquid, this soul light going through all of your body now. Now it's going to go out your arms, right to the fingertips. Allow it to fill up your core and run down your legs. Oh my God, this is me filling me up, my higher self, my own soul, filling my human self. It's not Debs doing it. It's not Han doing it. It's my own higher self with me right now. We are flowing this light. And it's filling up any areas of your body where, if you've got stuck energy, you'll feel it. There'll be stiffness. So let this beautiful energy find its way. Let it fill you up with the beautiful blessing that you are. And if you could see yourself right now, it's like your whole body is glowing with your own higher self, soul light. And now see yourself get bigger. It's almost like you go maybe a couple of meters outside of your body and you just start filling the auric field. And again, if you don't see it or feel it, doesn't matter. It's still happening. Open up and let go, guys. Allow yourself to replenish yourself, your higher self, your soul replenishing you. Now you're looking at yourself, or you're aligning with my words, and you're like, oh my goodness, I've grown a couple of meters either side of me and my whole energy body looks beautiful, golden white. Just feel that, let it into your cells. Now, as you're integrating your own light and replenishing yourself, and your higher self knows what you need, so she or he's bringing in what you need right now. And I'm just holding space for it. Really open up that heart chakra, because your heart's a manifester, you know. So open it up and get it nice and clear. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this beautiful violet flame crystal blanket through you in a moment. And that's going to take out anything that you don't need. So just imagine under your feet, I'm placing like a violet woven crystal blanket. Beautiful it is. And that blanket is full of what we call Saint Germain's violet flame. It's a transmutative, a clearing energy. It's under your feet now. And as you're listening to my voice, we're going to bring this gently through your body. We're bringing it under your feet right now, and now we're going to just jiggle it backwards and forwards gently, rhythmically. And as it comes up past your calves, it's coming now. It's coming through your knees, up your thighs. And now we're going to run through the core of the body. As this blanket moves up you, it's pulling and collecting. It's like collecting old energy that you don't need. You don't even need to name it, because your higher self knows what to do and what to let go of here. So trust this. Oh, we're coming through the heart, through the shoulders. We're up at the neck now. And now we're going to go through your head. Just allow this violet flame blanket to just move through you gently, rhythmically. And as it goes through the brain, unlocking patterns, unlocking things you don't need. And see this energy, this blanket just go above your head. And it's going to go past where the higher self was. So you've got this blanket and it's full of all the old energy. And you just place your hand on your heart. Give thanks for all of the old energy that's being taken from you and that's sitting in that blanket. And now watch and look up to where the blanket is, or just sense what I'm saying. We're going to roll the blanket in together. Just roll it all up so all that old energy's there. You've given thanks for it because, you know, all energy serves us. But you've let go of some heavy load. And now watch, as we push that blanket, it's like a ball now, and we just push it into the sun. And it goes through the sun back to something we call the central sun, the great central sun. Your higher self is taking care of that energy. And now it's gone. It's gone from you. And keeping your eyes closed, just notice how your heart feels open. Start to feel this beautiful, it's almost like a warm honey liquid light, and most people can sense that on some level when they tap in. But even if you don't feel it, it's there. Just resting in your heart. Guys, there is always peace and calm in your heart, in your core of your body. The madness is in the mind and outside of you. Just take one more moment to see the golden higher self above you, knowing that is you. Feel the connection. Just know he or she's there. The higher self is always there, never ever left. It's just that our mind shuts it out. just know that what we've done there is reconnected that higher self in a more palpable way. We've just flushed your energy field of old sticky energy that was sitting around you, and you've replenished yourself with your own soul light. You know, in the next 5 or 10 minutes when you finish this call, just breathe it in, because it's all around you. Your cells are absorbing it. And this I do every day. And this is how you get to live as your king or queen, because you with you is all that counts, because every other relationship, everything that's happening in your life is a reflection of your own connection with your higher self. Yes, and drinking water would be really good too, because, you know, anytime you're shifting energy, it's wonderful to drink clean water. So, Han, you know, that will help your people when they listen, just feel a little refresh, you know. It's the simple things. You know, people could do that every day and it will make a difference.
Yes.
Before they go to sleep or something, you know, like the more you do it, the more you feel it, as you know already. When you do it first, sometimes it feels a little bit foreign to people, but when you keep doing this, you just start feeling it and you're in your flow, and then there you go. You're you know.
Yes,
So,
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So hopefully we've helped a few people in today.
I think absolutely more than a few. I think there's going to be so many people who resonate with what you've shared. Thank you so much. Where can people find you? How can they book in?
Okay, so
what's the steps?
Yeah, so the best way to connect with me is my website, deborahcollings.com. There's a contact page on there if they want to ask me questions. But of course, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and you're welcome to join me there. And YouTube channel has got a load of free content on it, which you know about. So those links maybe we can put for people below. And I've got a Linktree link like you, so people can see, you know, what I do, how I do it and stuff.
Yeah, I'll drop everything in there.
Yeah, so they can find stuff. And I would just leave people with this. If it feels right to connect, it will be. And even if it's just on the YouTube channel and looking at that stuff, but if you want to ask question about session, yeah, get the feeling first, and then just fill out the contact page on deborahcollings.com. And I am Deborah, but like you, I shortened it as Debs, and I think we've put it as Deborah Debs Collings, you know, on Insta and stuff. So yeah, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, darling. It's always good to be with you. When you're with people and they're in the flow, it's always good. So I send my love to all of you guys out there. It's an amazing time to be here on the planet. And yes, it can be intense, but do your inner work, line up, allow your flow, and you be your own stability in this world, like you are, like I am, and live your best life, guys. You can. It's a choice.
Mic drop. We'll end it there. That's incredible. Thank you. Bye.